You taught me, so it's mine now too. That was the sentence that turned a relationship problem into something much bigger. Tonight's story is about a man who helped his girlfriend rebuild her confidence, her body, and eventually her entire online image, only to realize she wasn't just forgetting to credit him. She was taking his work, selling it under her name, and building a fake empire on top of other people's expertise. At first, it looked like success had changed her, but sometimes success does not change a person. Sometimes it simply gives them enough attention to reveal who they were willing to become. Before we begin, this is a fictionalized story created for entertainment and storytelling purposes. Names, characters, places, and events have been invented, altered, or adapted from online discussions. Any resemblance to real people or real situations is purely coincidental. AI was used only to assist with language polishing and voice production. The concept, structure, emotional framing, and final narrative presentation are human-created.
I'm Jake, 33M, been a personal trainer for 9 years. Started right out of college when I realized my business degree wasn't going to fulfill me the way I thought it would. Got my ACSM certification, added nutrition coaching, eventually specialized in body recomposition for people over 30. I'm not Instagram famous or anything, but I've built a solid reputation in our mid-sized city. My client retention rate is 85%. I've helped hundreds of people transform their lives, and I genuinely love what I do. My approach has always been science-based but personal. I don't do cookie-cutter programs. Every client gets something designed specifically for their goals, limitations, and lifestyle. It takes more time, but that's what sets me apart from the chain gym trainers who hand out the same routine to everyone. My girlfriend, Zoe 29F, and I have been together for 2 years. We met at a coffee shop where she was working as a freelance graphic designer, dealing with the typical desk job issues, weight gain, low energy, self-esteem problems. She'd tried various diets and gym memberships, but never stuck with anything long-term. When she finally asked if I'd help her get in shape, I was careful about mixing business with pleasure. I've seen trainer-client relationships go sideways when boundaries get blurred. But she was serious about making changes, and I could see she was tired of feeling uncomfortable in her own skin. So I treated her exactly like I'd treat any paying client, maybe even more thoroughly, since I had unlimited access to adjust and monitor her program. I designed a complete program for her, custom macros calculated for her body composition and goals, progressive strength training that started with body weight and gradually added resistance, cardio periodization that wouldn't burn her out, even a meal prep strategy that worked with her design schedule. The same level of detail and personalization I give my $150 or hour clients. I tracked her progress obsessively, adjusted her program every few weeks, celebrated every small victory with her. The transformation was incredible. She lost 45 pounds over 8 months, gained serious muscle definition, and looked amazing. More importantly, her confidence skyrocketed. I was so proud of her dedication and how far she'd come. Here's where things get weird. I suggested she document the journey on Instagram to inspire others and maybe connect with the fitness community. I even helped her set up the account, took all her progress photos with professional lighting, edited them, wrote captions explaining the science behind her results. Her before and after posts started going viral. Within 6 months, she went from 200 followers to 50K. Brands started reaching out. She was getting featured on fitness pages. Every notification ping became her personal standing ovation. She got addicted to the sound, and honestly, I was proud. Look what we built together, right? Famous last thoughts. But then she started changing. First, she stopped crediting me in posts. When followers asked about her trainer, she'd say things like, "I'm mostly self-taught," or "I research everything myself." When I asked about it, she said it would hurt her brand to seem dependent on someone else, because nothing says strong, independent woman like erasing the person who got you there. Then she started criticizing my appearance. I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm 5', around 180 pounds, fit but not magazine cover material. I train for function over aesthetics, and my body reflects that. I can deadlift twice my body weight, my cardiovascular health is excellent, and I feel great. But apparently that wasn't impressive enough for someone dating a fitness influencer. She started making comments about how I don't look the part of someone who should be training a fitness influencer, suggested I should bulk up, get more cut, maybe consider some enhancement to keep up with her brand image. She asked me to stay out of frame when she filmed workouts at our home gym that I built with my own money and equipment I'd collected over years. The home gym thing really stung. I'd spent 3 years putting together a solid setup. Probably $8,000 invested total. It was my pride and joy, the place where I'd helped dozens of clients achieve their goals. Now, I was being asked to hide in my own space, so I wouldn't hurt her aesthetic. I've been feeling like a ghost in my own relationship. We barely talk anymore unless it's about her content. She'll ask for help setting up lighting, need someone to film her workouts, want my opinion on captions. But actual conversation about our relationship, our future, even just how our days went. That stopped months ago, but here's what really bothers me. She's started giving advice to her followers about things I taught her, presenting it as her own knowledge. I see her copying and pasting explanations I wrote for her workouts, reposting them as ZoFit tips. She's even started selling basic workout PDFs that look suspiciously like the templates I use with clients. When I brought this up, she got defensive and said she internalized the knowledge and made it her own. She said I should be happy she's successful instead of trying to hold her back. I don't know what to think anymore. Am I being controlling by wanting recognition for my work? Or am I right to feel like something is seriously wrong here? Any advice would be appreciated. I'm feeling pretty lost right now. Then I decided to do some investigating. I paid $97 with a burner email and waited. 10 minutes later, my own template slid into my inbox wearing her logo. Not inspired, not based on, mine. Down to the dumbbell typo I've been meaning to fix since January. I checked the metadata on the PDF, created on my computer on a day when Zoe had asked to borrow it for some research. Turns out she wasn't researching fitness science. She was researching how to copy and paste. I started digging deeper. Over the past 3 months, she's sold 127 custom programs at $97 each. That's over $12,000 in revenue. All of them are my work with minor modifications. She just changes the client's name at the top and maybe swaps one exercise. Sometimes she doesn't even do that much. Each program took me 2 to 3 hours to design, factoring in my client's specific goals, injury history, available equipment, and schedule constraints. Seeing them being sold as custom Zoe Fit programs with zero acknowledgement of the actual work that went into them made me physically sick, but it gets worse. I looked through her DMs. I know her password because we used to share everything. She's been responding to guys' messages in a way that definitely implies she's single and interested. Lots of flirt responses. She's even scheduled training consultations with some of these guys, which I'm now realizing aren't about fitness at all. The consultation thing is what really got me. She's charging $150 for hour-long personalized fitness consultations via video call. I sat in on one. She claimed I was just a friend helping with technical support and watched her regurgitate information I'd taught her. Sometimes word for word from conversations we'd had months ago. She couldn't answer half the technical questions the guy asked and kept deflecting with vague motivational speak. One conversation particularly stood out. Some guy from her hometown was planning to visit next month, specifically to meet up with her. Their messages were pretty explicit about his expectations. He was talking about booking a hotel room, she was playing along, and there was zero mention of fitness training in their entire conversation thread. I screenshot everything. When I confronted her about the stolen programs, she exploded, said I was sabotaging her success and that I should be grateful she's making money since it benefits both of us. Her exact words. "You taught me, so it's mine now too." That's how learning works, Jake. Apparently, I missed that day in school where they explained that learning someone's proprietary business methods gives you ownership rights. I told her that's literally theft of intellectual property, and she laughed. Said I'd never be able to prove anything because who's going to believe some local gym trainer over a successful influencer? The woman who used to ask me to open pickle jars was now lecturing me about power dynamics. What's really messing with my head is how gradual this transformation was. It wasn't like she woke up one day and decided to become a fraud. It was small compromises that built on each other, first not mentioning my help, then downplaying it, then denying it entirely, then actively profiting from my work while excluding me from the success. I keep thinking about the Zoe from a year ago, who used to thank me after every workout, who would get excited about understanding the science behind why certain exercises worked, who wanted to help other women feel as strong as she was starting to feel. That person seems completely gone, replaced by someone who sees everything through the lens of content potential and follower engagement. I've been staying at my buddy Mike's place for the past 3 days to clear my head. Mike's also a trainer, and he's been a good sounding board. He helped me realize that what I'm dealing with isn't just relationship drama, it's potential business fraud that could affect my professional reputation if I don't handle it correctly. I'm done with the relationship, but I'm struggling with what to do about the program theft. My business depends on my reputation and intellectual property. These programs are not just my knowledge, but my professional identity. I have no problem with other trainers learning from my methods or being inspired by my approach. The fitness community generally shares knowledge and supports each other's growth. But there's a difference between learning from someone and literally copy-pasting their work to sell as your own. Some questions for the hive mind. 1. Do I have any legal recourse here? I have timestamps proving I created these programs months before she started selling them. Do 2. Should I expose this publicly? Part of me wants to protect other trainers from being exploited, but I don't want to seem like a bitter ex. 3. How do I even begin to move forward from this? I feel like I've been living with a stranger. I checked if Zoe had stolen from other trainers. I reached out to 6 fitness professionals in our area. 4 of them confirmed she'd taken their content. Marcus, who runs a small studio across town, said he'd been wondering why his proprietary Beach Body Blast program was suddenly showing up in Zoe's content word for word. Lisa, who specializes in prenatal and postnatal fitness, found that Zoe had stolen her entire New Mom Strong video series. Then there's David, a registered dietitian who combines nutrition counseling with fitness coaching. Zoe had screenshotted his meal prep guides, copied his macro calculation explanations, and was selling ZoFit nutrition plans that were literally David's intellectual property with her branding slapped on top. The most disturbing discovery came from Amanda, who does online coaching for women with eating disorder histories. Zoe had taken Amanda's carefully crafted content about building a healthy relationship with food and exercise, content that requires serious psychological understanding and professional training, and was regurgitating it to her followers as casual advice. We decided to work together to document everything. Marcus turned out to be our secret weapon. He's actually a lawyer who got into fitness training after burning out in corporate law. He'd kept his bar certification active and had been looking for a way to combine his legal background with his passion for the fitness industry. Marcus explained that what we were dealing with wasn't just copyright infringement, but potentially fraudulent business practices. When someone sells professional services based on stolen expertise and fake credentials, it crosses into fraud territory, especially if people are paying money based on those false representations. But here's where it gets wild. Yesterday, I got a call from someone claiming to be a representative from Nutrivance, that big supplement company that sponsors half the fitness influencers on Instagram. They wanted to discuss concerns about Miss Harper's credentials and content authenticity. Turns out, Zoe has been in talks with them about a major sponsorship deal, 6 figures, with potential for her own supplement line, because nothing says fitness expert like 8 months of following someone else's program. But before finalizing anything, they do their due diligence. They'd noticed inconsistencies in her content and wanted to verify her certifications and program credentials. Plot twist. Zoe has been claiming on her media kit that she's certified by 3 different fitness organizations. She's not certified by any of them. I checked. The confidence it takes to lie to a major corporation about easily verifiable credentials is honestly impressive. In a sociopathic way, the Nutrivance rep, let's call her Jennifer, explained that they'd been burned before by fake influencers and now thoroughly vet potential partners. Jennifer's team had noticed several red flags with Zoe's account. Engagement rates that didn't match her follower count, lots of followers, relatively few real interactions, comments that seemed bot-generated or purchased. Sudden spikes in follower growth that coincided with known fake account farms, content that seemed inconsistent in quality and expertise level. Credentions that couldn't be verified through the organizations, she claimed. They'd already found evidence of purchased followers. About 30% of Zoe's audience was fake accounts. Their social media analytics team could trace the fake follows back to specific bot farms that Zoe had paid. She'd spent $1,200 over 3 months to inflate her numbers, but the fake followers were just the beginning. When they started fact-checking her claimed certifications, they discovered she wasn't certified by any of the 3 organizations listed in her media kit. One of them had never even heard of her when Nutrivance called to verify. Jennifer asked if I'd be willing to provide a statement about my experience, particularly regarding the stolen content. She emphasized that Nutrivance takes intellectual property theft seriously and wanted to ensure they weren't about to partner with someone who built their following on fraud. The conversation with their legal team was intense. They weren't just asking casual questions, they were building a file. They explained that if they could prove Zoe had misrepresented herself to obtain the potential sponsorship, they might have grounds for legal action beyond just dropping her. Apparently, attempting to defraud a company through false credentials and stolen content can have serious consequences. I spent 2 hours on the phone with their legal team yesterday. I provided time-stamped evidence of my original programs, screenshots showing identical content being sold under Zoe's name, documentation of the fake certifications she's claiming, contact information for the other trainers she's stolen from. They were thorough, professional, and honestly seemed pissed off that someone had tried to scam them. Meanwhile, I've been documenting everything for my own protection. I've got over 40 side-by-side comparisons of stolen content, evidence of fake follower purchases, $1,200 spent in the past 3 months, screenshots of her lying about her credentials, records proving I created only intellectual property she's selling. Marcus helped me file complaints with Instagram and TikTok for intellectual property theft. We also sent cease and desist letters to Zoe, demanding she stop selling our stolen content. The crazy part? She still has no idea I'm behind any of this. She's been texting me asking to work things out and come home, completely oblivious that her fake empire is about to collapse. I have to admit, there's a part of me that feels bad for her. The woman I loved is buried somewhere under this fake persona, and I keep wondering if she's gone forever, or if this was always who she was underneath. But then I remember the 127 people who paid $97 for stolen programs, the thousands of followers getting advice from someone with 0 qualifications, and the other trainers whose work has been plagiarized. This isn't just about our relationship anymore. The Nutrivance rep said they'd have a decision about the sponsorship by Friday. Given what they've learned, I'm pretty sure I know what that decision will be. I'll keep you posted on how this plays out. Thanks again for all the support and advice. You've helped me see clearly through what was honestly a pretty devastating situation. Friday arrived, and as expected, Nutrivance pulled their sponsorship offer. But they didn't just quietly back away. They sent Zoe a detailed letter explaining exactly why they were terminating discussions, including a comprehensive list of the fraudulent activities they'd uncovered. Zoe called me Friday night, absolutely hysterical. She'd also received cease and desist letters from Marcus and 2 other trainers whose content she'd stolen. Instagram had started removing posts flagged for copyright infringement. Her follower count was dropping as the platform purged fake accounts. She alternated between begging me to fix this and screaming that I'd destroyed her life. The irony was thick enough to choke on. The woman who'd spent months telling me I didn't deserve credit for my own work was now demanding I save her from the consequences of stealing that work. I told her there was nothing to fix. She'd made these choices, and now she had to live with the consequences. I also informed her that I'd be moving out permanently and that she needed to stop contacting me. Over the weekend, 3 more trainers reached out to me, After hearing about the situation through our professional network, Marcus has been coordinating our response, and we now have 7 trainers who can prove their content was stolen. We're working with a lawyer who specializes in intellectual property theft in social media. Apparently, this is becoming common enough that there are attorneys who focus specifically on this type of case. As of today, Zoe's lost about 15,000 followers as Instagram continues removing fake accounts. Several fitness brands have dropped her from their affiliate programs after being contacted about the fraudulent activities. She's had to refund dozens of customers who demanded their money back after learning the programs they bought were stolen. The most satisfying part? The fitness community is tight-knit and word travels fast. Other influencers have started sharing their own experiences with content theft, and there's a growing movement to verify credentials and authenticity. Some positive change might actually come from this mess. I went by our apartment yesterday to get the last of my stuff. The contrast between the space now and what it used to be was jarring. Our living room had been converted into a full-time content creation studio. The kitchen counter was covered with supplement bottles from various brands she was trying to get sponsorship deals with. The home gym I'd built was rearranged to optimize for filming angles rather than actual training efficiency. Zoe was there, looking completely different. She seemed smaller, defeated, sitting on the couch in sweatpants, scrolling through her phone with a kind of desperate energy. She tried one last time to convince me that we could work things out, that she could change. She promised to give me credit for the programs, to stop selling the stolen content, to go back to being the old Zoe. She even offered to split the money she'd made from selling my programs, as if paying me after the fact would somehow make the theft acceptable. I told her I hoped she'd learn from this and find a way to build something authentic with her life, but that we were done. The fitness community has been incredibly supportive through all this. I've gotten referrals for new clients who specifically sought me out because they heard I stood up for intellectual property rights. People want to work with trainers who have integrity and won't tolerate fraud in the industry. My business is actually stronger than ever, and I've connected with other professionals who share my commitment to authentic, science-based fitness coaching.
All right. That's the story for today. What began as a transformation journey became a warning about ego, stolen credit, and the danger of building an image without integrity. The lesson here is simple. Support should never become permission to erase the person who helped you. Learning from someone is not the same as owning their work, and ambition without honesty eventually turns into fraud. In my opinion, Jake did not destroy Zoe's dream. He exposed the fact that her dream had been built on theft, shortcuts, and a version of herself that was never real. And sometimes the most painful ending is also the cleanest one. Because once the truth comes out, you no longer have to keep shrinking yourself to protect someone else's lie.